Hi, good afternoon, my quilty friends. How is everybody? So I am sitting down sewing, and I am actually working on the Piece and Quilt sampler. Fat Quarter Shop hosted this last year, and I bought the Fat Quarter bundle to make this, but you need at least 45 fat quarters to make this quilt. Well, I'm not buying any fabric this year. I'm not trying to. I did break that rule and did buy a little bit at the beginning of the year, but I'm using fabrics from my stash to make up the 45, whoops, I don't want to mess those up, to make up for the additional fat quarters that I need to make this quilt. So I may not like these after I get them made. However, I wanted to add, so if you want to sew along with me, you're going to need this book, and you can download the fabric requirements to get you started on the Fat Quarter Shop. I'll place the link below, but you will need this book. I am deferring from the cutting instructions in the book, and I am using my AccuQuilt. Yes, you can. You can take your AccuQuilt. Let me pause right here and say I am not sponsored by AccuQuilt. They are not providing me anything free of charge. I purchased my AccuQuilt system out of my pocket. I am paying for it with my own money. I did the finance thing just to spread that out just a little bit, so that wasn't so much at one time. They were running a really, really good sale last month, and I've been wanting an AccuQuilt system for forever. So I went ahead and took the plunge before my husband retires and went ahead and purchased it. So I took advantage of the cube system with the AccuQuilt, watched a few videos, and learned how to convert a pattern over to the AccuQuilt. So I cut the only thing is I did it too big. But that's okay. I'm learning. So I'm going to have some waste over here where I'm trimming these down. So I cut all of my half square triangles out last night. And I'm going to add this bright, I know this is a really bright pink, and I also have this pink that I wanted to add in there for some fun color. And I might not like it when I get it done, so I may end up going back to my stash and looking through what I have before, 100% am sold on the pink. But I kind of did look through my stash this evening, and really, I found a couple of fabrics that might work, so I may end up doing that. So the great thing about the AccuQuilt system, and there's Pepper, if you can see Pepper, she is, you can't, hey sister, you can't lay on that. Move. I did all of my cutting on the AccuQuilt. So when you put your little half square triangles together, you're going to sew from this little tip here to this little tip down here is an exact 1/4 inch. You're going to get perfect, and for me, perfect half square triangles that I wouldn't get any other way. I'm just telling y'all, I am not the world's best, like line it up down through here and sew. Yeah, that turns out to be a disaster every time I try that. So I told y'all that I was wanting to find a quilt that was a bit more challenging. I've had this quilt on my mind to make for months now, and now just seemed like the time with the AccuQuilt. Hey, get off of I know you want to lay on that, but you cannot. I'm going to have to figure out somewhere to put this to keep her off of it, because she's persistent. If nothing else, she is persistent. So I did put one of the blocks together last night. Oh, I'm sorry, Pepper. This is one of the 3.5 inch blocks that we're making with this. And guys, I can tell you, I am super excited about how it turned out. I have 12 of these to make. So there's 12 of these little shoe flies that you're going to have to make. I am so enthralled with and y'all are going to get so sick of hearing me say AccuQuilt, and I know everybody can't afford one. In the book, there is instructions to cut your fabric and to make it a traditional way with the rotary cutting rulers. I'm personally using my AccuQuilt system, and I'm super excited about it. And I'm sorry, like I said, I know not everybody can afford it, and I wouldn't have been able to afford it had I not spread the payments out over time. So you could absolutely pin these if you want to. You could probably glue base these if you wanted to. I'm not super chuffed about it, you know, worried about all of that. And I need to be in there working on my Easter journal because I'm never going to get that thing done by next weekend. So my goal is I got to work in the greenhouse some this weekend, but hopefully I'll spend a lot of time in the greenhouse. I don't know. We'll see. Because our Quilt Mania series, our pre-cut Quilt Mania series is posting every other week, and that kind of gives me a break to do something different. I'm one of those people that I just can't do the same thing over and over and over again. I'm sorry, guys. I do have to have more than one project, I guess, ongoing. Make sure that's just one. And I used to think I wasn't that kind of person, that I just needed one project at a time, finish it, move on, finish it, you know, go to the next project. And I'm months behind on all of my quilt-alongs, sew-alongs, like the Fat Quarter Shop's Designer Mystery. Yeah, I'm months behind on that. I'll get caught up eventually. I'm months behind on the Dragon Fruit Block of the Month. And then the one that I'm hand stitching, that's an applique. Y'all haven't seen that. I think I may have showed it a time or two in some of the videos, but I haven't done any tutorials or anything like that on there. My machine tried to eat that right there, and it's very rare that your machine will try and eat unless you're sewing on a point. So sometimes it, you know, sometimes it happens. I said I'm just lining these up like this. I really want to make this quilt. And I'm thinking about quilting it in Quilt As You Go. So we'll see how that comes around. And I'm learning how to use this AccuQuilt system so I can show you guys how to convert. If you have an AccuQuilt and you're trying to figure out how to do pattern conversions, I'm figuring that out, and I'm gonna we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it once I get a little bit more comfortable with doing it. We will figure it out. I said I'm watching some videos. There's not a whole lot out there, I'm just gonna tell you. There's one video I found that AccuQuilt hosted on pattern conversion, and it really wasn't, I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong, but I think it could have been way more informative and a little bit more in depth. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. And if you're, you know, like I bought this whole system, I didn't get the corners and angles. I wished I would have. I wished I'd have just went ahead and spent the extra money and bought the whole shebang. But it's okay. Let me grab a few more from over here. See, I'm almost done sewing. Oh, I got to sew these too. And that one's got a little bit left on it where I cut. There we go. There we go. I wished I would have went ahead and got the whole shebang with that had the corners and angles and all of that on there. And this one doesn't quite fit, which it's not the machine. It was me when I was doing, because I said I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'll have to plug up me irons and iron all these. But yeah, I'm really loving it. Oh, and AccuQuilt did make good. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? You're just into everything. AccuQuilt did make good on the cube, the 5-inch cube that I received that was damaged, that had arrived damaged in shipping. They replaced the whole cube. It was a pain in the butt to find a FedEx facility around here that would accept the shipping return. We had to go all the way down to Little Rock, to Little Rock, to McCain Mall, to a FedEx, an actual FedEx station. or my husband did. He's not too happy with me because he did all that running around today. And he really wanted to stay at home and play in his wood shop. But I appreciated him doing that for me. Here we go. Get this one going. So they did make good on that. They did not replace the soft cover for the machine, the dust cover that had the black marks all over it. They didn't replace that. That's okay. I'll throw it in the washing machine and see if I can get that out. I need to move you guys so you can see a little closer how I'm lining this up. Because I don't think you guys can see from that far away. And I gotta go pick up all that fabric that Pepper just dumped in the floor over there. I have it on top of my cutting table. And she tried to jump up on the cutting table, and it's a little tall for her because she's a little cat. She's little. So let me grab another little stack. I paired these in 4 because you need 4 per block. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my half square triangles here, laying them together, lining them up. I am bearing in mind that I'm going to be squaring these up because I didn't cut them right. And then this line, if you guys can see, this line on the right hand side is a 1/4 inch line on this seam guide, Lori Holt's seam guide. I am lining it up on there and running it down that line. And my needle is going off the very edge, and I know y'all can't see, and I'll move my camera back over here where you guys will be able to see with the next, I have way more of these to do. There's a lot of half square triangles in this quilt, so I just wanted to come online. I just wanted to come on. I missed you guys. I'm wondering how your week is going. I know today is only Tuesday. It's an early start to the week, but how's your week going? Are you having a great week? It's drying out here. We're finally getting some dry weather. It looks like it's going to be dry for the next about 10, 12 days or so, thank goodness. And yeah, I hope you're having a fantastic week. I just realized I haven't texted my son and my daughter-in-law to check on them, see how they're doing. I need to do that tomorrow and say hi to my grandbaby that's in Alabama. And I do have my stitch length cut down to 1.85 if you're interested to know what my stitch length is. When you're sewing little bitty parts like this, you need a small stitch length. That way it doesn't come apart. Put that with that one. That with that one, that with that one, and this one with this one. And we line those up just like that. So I started a new audiobook today called The God in the Woods. I think that's the name of it. And I waited forever through the public library. You know, you can get books through the local library, through Libby. You just need a library card, download the app, follow your directions from your library to sign up. And, you know, you can listen to audiobooks, read books, you know, for free. We pay for that through our tax dollars. So I take full advantage of Libby, of my local library. So anyway, I've been waiting for a long, long time for this book. The God in the Woods, I think is the name of it. And I can't even remember what the book is about now. I can't even remember. And it's a long audiobook. It's like 15 hours. Now, I can suck through one of those in a couple days because if I listen at work. Usually I'm watching YouTube videos or listening to YouTube videos a lot. I'll put them on in the background and just let them play. I figure that's something that I can do to support other YouTubers, other creators, other content creators, is to put their video on, let it play in the background, and I'll let them earn some AdSense revenue, and just my little way of contributing to the creator community. There we go. this weekend, I'm really, really hoping to clean out my greenhouse. Get most of the plants cleaned out. There's a lot of that stuff's not going back in there this winter. It's not going to go in there. I'm going to leave it out, plant it like I did last year, and leave it out. If it makes it, it makes it. You know, if it don't, it don't. The winters here are unpredictable. Now, if I would have cut these right, there would have been no trimming up. We would just press them open and moved on with life. But seeing as I used the wrong die, which is okay. I'm okay. Oh, I think this is it. I think this is it right here. Turn that way. Pepper, you stink. She smells, they eat a lot of fish, like fish cat food, and she smells like fish. Oh, her little breath, it's her little breath. It's not her herself, it's her little breath that smells. She's got stinky fish breath. Isn't that right, Peppy Weppy? Just lining that up. I got supper in the oven. We're having hot dogs and french fries tonight. And you know what? I just threw it all in the oven. I'm like, just let it all bake. I love grilled hot dogs. Those are my favorite. I'm just all over the place today, aren't I? Tomorrow evening I'll probably come in and we'll work on the journal. The Easter journal, because I'm never going to get that finished by Easter, which is what, next weekend? Yeah. Chances of me finishing that by next weekend are slim to none. It takes me a while. You know, I work full time. I think that's it. I don't see any more. Let me move this over here. Yep, I don't see any more. You know, work a full-time job, and my mood when I come in, what do I want to do when I get home? Because it's all about doing something that brings you pleasure. You know, what brings you a sense of accomplishment? What brings you pleasure, you know? It's not making yourself do something you don't want to do. We don't want to do things like that. We want to do something that makes us feel good and have fun doing it. And quilting is my passion. I've quilted for years. I've had other hobbies. I do have other hobbies. You know, I love to junk journal. I love to paint, play with paints, and that's something, you know, that I like to do when I'm in the mood to do it. But I don't want to be so obsessed with one craft that I ignore the other crafts, you know? You need balance. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. We need balance in our lives. Move over, Pep Pep. We do. We need balance. And let me move this stuff over here. And I need to put those things somewhere. I'm going to scoop that back there and that up under there. I don't know if I can iron. If I iron on this, will it warp this up under here? Does anybody know? Just checking to see if any of y'all know if the heat will transfer through and warp my mat. It's a good question, isn't it? So let's work on, while that's heating up. Oh, it's over here. This is what I'm looking for. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So this is what I'm looking for. We can kind of go ahead and open these up, make the pressing process a whole lot faster. I know Lori does this, Lori Holt. That's another book we're fixing to dive into. After we finish this one, maybe, We're going to take a Lori Holt book and we're going to go through it. Maybe I'm just as quick to do it that way, you know. And we're going to take a Lori Holt book and we're going to pick a pattern and we're going to pick something simple and we're going to learn how to do our AccuQuilt conversion. We're going to convert one of Lori's patterns into an AccuQuilt pattern. Come on, open up there. And we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun, fun, fun. Hey guys, we're getting closer and closer to 2,500 subscribers. And y'all know what happens at 2,500 subscribers. Oh, I still haven't done the giveaway video, have I? About the rules and regulations and all that junk that you have to go. We're getting closer and closer. To that mark. Well, if I can pull that apart. I mean, you're talking about perfect half square triangles here. I'm just tickled beyond tickled. There we go. Yeah, I think I can just do this faster with my fingers than with the roly-poly. Once you get it apart. There we go. And I noticed that I'm really bad about where I start out. Like I don't take off as much. And then I end with more. With a bigger bite. Let's press some of these open. My little Alicio project iron bit the dust. Yes, I contacted them and they've sent me a shipping label to return it. So, yeah, that ought to make Jimmy happy. But at least it's down here at the UPS facility. We have one of those right here in town. Oh, gosh. I'll go do that one myself. I don't like driving in Little Rock. Okay. All right, and I want y'all to look. Look how perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. I'm going to set those over there. And open these out. Just keep opening while that heats up. And see, I did it here. If you can see here, I didn't take a big as bite. Well, maybe it is the same. I have a guide, you know, and I don't want to sit here and draw the line on every single one of these. Oh, no. No, no, no. I do not. Yeah, quilting is the only hobby or craft that I have really stuck with over all these years, you know. I might do something different for a little while, but I always come back to my quilting. Always. This is going to be bright against those blues and taupes and grays. We're going to have a pop of color in there. All right. Let me go check my supper. I'll be right back. Oh, let me tell you, it was done. It was done. There is no doubt in my mind that that's done. Yep. Oopsie daisy. I'm usually a really good cook. Oh gosh. I left that in there just a little bit too long. I had first told Jimmy I wasn't cooking tonight when I got home because he's off tomorrow. And I don't have to, I didn't have to worry about him a lunch, you know. That's one of the main reasons I come home and I cook every night, is to make sure that, you know, he has a lunch. Okay, let's scoot all of that over there. There we go. Let's let that heat up for a few minutes. I know this is boring. I know, boring, guys. I know. I know. But I said I missed you guys and wanted to pop on and see what you were doing, how your week was going. I said hopefully it's going fabulous. And all of these are steps. If you're a beginner quilter, all of these are steps to in the quilting process. You know, it's all of these little things, and pressing, to me, besides your seam allowance, pressing will make or break your project. It provides a nice, crisp finishing touch to whatever project, whether you're sewing a quilt, whether you're making a garment or a bag or whatever you happen to be sewing. The pressing and the ironing are it's important. It's important. Now, I'm ironing because I'm sliding my iron down that seam like that. That's ironing. Pressing is where we hold that seam open and we set our iron down, no sliding, and you pick it up and you set it down again. That's pressing. So if you're a beginner quilter and you didn't know the difference, that's the difference. So set my iron down, move it over, set it down again. And you know, we do this too. And we add that little press in there. Does it hurt anything? It can distort your fabric, especially if you're using steam. You want to stay away from ironing and press. Yeah, see, it did grab that right there just a little bit, but it's okay. We're going to be trimming it off. You're going to want to stay away from doing this if you're doing steam. I'm not. There's no water in this iron. This is dry iron. Because when you're doing, when you're sewing half square triangles like this, you're on the bias. And on the bias is very stretchy. And you will warp your fabric. Whoops. Let's pick these up and whoops, move them off to the side. I want to go ahead and get all the rest of these pressed. But this is an important step of the quilting process. And we skip it a lot when we're creating videos, because I mean, come on, it's boring. You know, you probably think this is the most boring thing you've ever seen. But it's also a very important part, and it's an important part that you can look here and you can look at your seam. Like this one, I started out extremely narrow, and I don't know if you guys can see. Can you guys even see? Yes, you can. I started out really narrow right here and ended up very wide down here. So you can look, you can see what you need to work on as you're sewing. Are you doing that? Are you doing like I'm doing? Are you starting off with a narrow seam and then ending wider? And if you are, that is going to change the overall dimension of your block. By the time you take that little bit and you multiply it over a 12-inch block, you could be 1/4 to 1/2 inch out by the time you finish your 12-inch block. So ironing, pressing, is a very important part of the quilting process. So there you go. There's my 2 cents worth, whatever that's worth. Is it worth 2 cents? What you think? I hope you think it's worth 2 cents. Oh, guys, I am going to turn my machine off here in a minute because I am probably to the point where I'm done sewing for the evening. I don't get much sewing done by the time I get home from work, cook supper, clean up supper. You guys know, especially if you got kids, you know, oh gosh, if you got kids, you're running to ball games or practices. Whoo-wee, I remember those days. You know, and the majority of your time you get to spend sewing maybe late at night when the kids are in bed or on the weekends only, you know. So you understand, you understand. And if you're fortunate enough to get to stay at home or you're retired and I'm smiling, And if you're retired and you get to stay at home and get to enjoy your hobby to the fullest every day, I'm jealous. I'm envious. I'm just telling you. I am jealous, jealous, jealous. Make sure that's the room bee running in there. The little battery needs replacing. She can't do the whole house anymore without having to go charge. And then she comes back and finishes. Whoops. What you doing, baby? Oh, you gotta go get eggs?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that?
No,
All right. So now, it's really a good idea once you finish pressing to put a quilter's clapper or a pressing board. I call them pressing board because I just don't like the name clapper. There's a reason. So we can put the quilter's clapper on top of that, and then I have to trim these down. These should be 1.5 inches, and I know, I've wasted a lot of fabric here, but I didn't know. I know now. And I'm trying to get away from rotary cutting, and here I have created myself just as much work. But it's okay. It's all okay. And I'll show you how I'm doing this. Watch those fingers. Keep an eye on those fingers at all times. Okay, so what I'm doing is that your little ruler has diagonal lines. You have this diagonal line, which is 45 degree, and this one has a white one that's a 45 degree too. I am placing one of those lines on the line on the little block. I'm placing that straight down, lining it up straight on that seam, and then I'm trimming it. I'm trimming it off. Whoops, and get it lined up. There we go. And then I'm just trimming it off, rotate it around. Make sure it stays lined up. This one kind of shifted just a little bit. I do have a small mat. I do have a mat, like right here. Yeah, you could turn the mat, and I have another one up on the shelf. So you could do, let's take this one, line it up, cut, twist your mat, and cut. Actually, that works really much better. So, don't know why I wasn't doing that before. Stubbornness, I guess. I don't know. And your cutting is very, very important too. You know, it makes a difference over the overall size of your block. That's why Kimberly at Fat Quarter Shop, there goes Grayson, she makes her blocks bigger and then cuts them down. Is that way she gets accurate blocks every time. True to size. If it's supposed to be a 1.5 inch block, then that's what she's getting is 1.5 inches. And I didn't get that little dog ear over there. There we go. So, you know, it's each their own. It's your quilting world, and you do whatever it is that you want to do. You know what? There is no quilting police that's going to come get you. You make your quilts out of whatever fabric you want or you can afford. I don't normally do that. You shouldn't do that. I can tell you some of this fabric right here, these two pieces of fabric came from Hobby Lobby. If I see fabric and I like it, I don't care. I'm purchasing it. I'm not necessarily a fabric snob. I have purchased Walmart fabric. Waverly, I think it, whoops, did y'all see that? Did you see how that slid? Hopefully we're still good. Hopefully we can stretch that. See how that stretches a little bit right there? Can you see that? See that stretch? So we'll be all right. Sorry, guys. But make sure you hold on to that puppy with dear life and keep an eye on them fingers. I said I cut myself very, very badly this past year. Last year, 2024. It was really, really bad with the rotary cutter. So that's one reason why I'm super excited about the AccuQuilt system. And you still have to use a rotary cutter to trim your fabrics down. I mean, because, you know, we don't want to wait. But it's not like this kind of cutting. You're rough cutting it. It doesn't have to be precise. And we'll talk about all of that when we get to that. Now you could save all these little bitty pieces and put in like a pet bed of some kind. I am not. It's going in the trash. Our cats end up sleeping with us at night. They've just recently started that. Well, Grayson's always slept with us. When he's in the house, that is. He's an indoor-outdoor kind of cat. He stays out more than he stays in. But Pepper has got to where she has started to come in and sleep with us at night. And they stay out during the day for the most part. I assume. I'm not at home. But when I am home, they're not in the house. They're outside. Unless it's wet food time. And it's wet food time. That's the reason why they're both in here. Is they are going to get nummies as soon as Daddy gets back from the chicken coop. There we go. And every once in a while, I don't get that little... I guess I don't get all the way through. There we go. The only other thing that I would like to purchase is the additional software for my EQ8 that goes with AccuQuilt. I am going to actually purchase that add-on. So, because y'all know I like designing my own quilts. And I think it would make it so much easier. Because it would tell you your dye that you need and all of that stuff. But I have several projects planned for our AccuQuilt.
Let's see.
Okay, give me just a minute.
Hey, buddy.
Where's Buddy?
Right here.
Oh, you know what he's wanting, right?
Yeah, but he's gonna wait.
There we go. I only have just a few more to do, Jimmy. I want to finish trimming these. All right, guys. I guess you have listened to me witter on enough. I'll go eat and then I'll come back out here and finish this. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I may see you guys back here tomorrow. But we'll be in the paper crafting room where we will be working on the Easter journal. I still got to put those signatures. I got to finish decorating, putting the signatures together. Yeah, no way I'm going to finish that puppy by Easter. There is just no way. But you know what? It's okay. It's my journal. We can finish it afterwards. There we go. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening. I just have these few right here to finish trimming up. I'm going to go eat some dinner, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.